Tēnā tātou te whare. When I first spoke on this take, I guess the gallery was full. And apart from a number of things that I said, I do remember saying this, and I know that it landed, not only with the House, but particularly with the gallery. I said, because we apologise here in the House does not mean that you have to be ready to forgive us. And that point is still so real in my mind, in my heart, Madam Speaker, and I want to land it here again and ask all of us, particularly government, to consider this. The best definition that I've ever heard of forgiveness, by the way, is this. The best definition, to give up your right to resent. The definition, to give up your right to resent. There's not a single thing in the announcement that says to me and to the many that we know and that are survivors of this, Madam Speaker, would consider this a reason to give up their right to resent. In fact, what it does say is continue to hold the resentment until the forgiveness is clear and shown in the announcement and anything that this government will do. So I want to make those points as I open up my discussion. To say this is a violent regime of disrespect against survivors. When I was listening to some of the discussion earlier, the words, this is investment, 744 million of investment, like we're doing you a favour. It's such a strange word to use, the word investment, when this is about harm and trauma that have been caused to so many. So, well, here's the 30k payout. This is and used it as an investment discussion. I don't understand that, and I find it strange and offensive, actually. So let's say that, I'll repeat it, $744 million split across 200,000 survivors of abuse in state and faith-based care. Equates to only 30 each. That's your total compensation for state-sanctioned abuse. Sorry about it. That has completely derailed the lives of survivors and in actual fact derailed the lives of generations following. That inquiry was meant to be a turning point of transformational change, but this coalition government has chosen to continue the legacy of abuse. To say as well, I was listening to it again, this to not turn this into a political football. Let me say that there are many a whānau and family member that is get into that house and make this discussion. Whether it's, political football, I don't even understand that idea. Everything that we do in this house and say in that house has to carry some power and importance so that our family do go, yeah, Mino, you're saying what we need you to say, so don't back off saying it, whether it's a political point or not. Make our voice heard in this house. So that is why I'm standing to talk to this issue today. I want to mihi tualo for actually raising it in this way, Madam Speaker, to bring this to another opportunity to call to change the minds of government, to go from your head to your heart and understand what this means for family and whānau. This government has offered band-aids for bullet wounds, and the minister should be ashamed, deeply ashamed, just as every other complicit member of parliament in the coalition government should be too, because to reject the findings, let me just say that again, to reject the findings of the commission is to reject the truth. Te Pāti Māori remains unwavering, Madam Speaker, in this commitment to justice. We will continue to fight this, we will continue to name it, and we will continue to reject it and to say the names and the voices, bring the voices of our whānau to the House. Good intentions, and I heard that phrase earlier too, good intentions is simply not enough. It is the road to future harm and hell. And that we stand as Pāti Māori and reject the ongoing position and the ongoing harm and abuse in care. Madam Speaker, tēnā koe.
Always when I hear Mariameno, she always gets the terminology right on a lot of words. She comes up with some very good analogies, such as putting band-aids over bullet wounds. That is a very good way of putting it in there. As people who have experienced abuse, trying to put a band-aid over it or trying to sweep it under the carpet does not sit down there and move things away from where it is. It feels like there's a sense of injustice and a lack of accountability and just sits there and festers.
Yeah, so Mariameno, she's such an elegant speaker. She's a very good kai kōrero. But yeah, I just want to, it goes back to the history of, and I know people are going to freak out when I say this word, it goes back to the history of colonialism in New Zealand. Because a lot of the people that were brought into state care were Māori, okay? And iwi and hapu did not have the level of involvement with those kids in state care as much as they should have. And as a result, you got tamariki and rangatahi and Pākiki Māori, right? So that's all your kids and your teenagers and stuff. They were deprived of learning about te ao Māori, Mātauranga Māori, and learning te reo Māori and a lot of these really important things that they need to have cultural connection with the land, okay? So they were kind of forced to integrate into Pākehā society through a really traumatic way of being ripped away from their iwi and hapu and their families. That is very traumatic. And as a result of doing that, Is it any wonder why Māori are upset? They've been alienated. They've been essentially, a good portion of Māori, especially those of the older generations, are broken, right? As a result of urbanisation, of being taken away from the land and not being stripped away from things that are culturally important to them. You know, you can't just go up to a Māori person or any Indigenous person and go, here, Pākehā solution. Because it's like you're basically taking a human and throwing them into an alien world.
Yeah.
You know, you can't just slap. I mean, yes, there are similarities. Sure, we can nitpick about that, but being disconnected from traditions that you grew up with or that you were raised with, or being disconnected from that familial love and care, does do damage to your psyche. Holy shit! Like, you look at the amount of money that you know. Again, you know, we can go over the stats. The average lifetime cost of survivor of the loss of enjoyment of things that New Zealanders think are normal daily activities in 2019 is estimated to be about 673,000. Almost 80% of the estimated lifetime cost of abuse per survivor, almost 80% of the lifetime cost of abuse per survivor of 857,000. Okay? And a lot of those costs, the burden of that cost, is on the victim. Victims of state abuse. And also, I've got to highlight, and this is why I'm really annoyed and pissed off and angry with Karen Shaw. This is why Section 7AA is so important, to prevent this shit from happening again. And she's out here going, no, we need to do the same shit what happened in the past. Bring back the boot camps, you know, start breaking apart hapus again in whānau involvement. We're going to break all that shit, and you're just going to get another repeat of this. It's just all bullshit.
Yeah. Okay.